In our next section, we're going to talk about parallel and perpendicular lines. What we've had here, we talked about the slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. M here is our slope. So if you have it in this form, our number next to the x is going to be your slope, which you'll need soon. Standard form is ax plus b y equals c, and in this one, our slope was the opposite of a over b. Okay, so we need to describe the slope of parallel lines. Well, parallel lines have the same slope. They're going the same direction. They'll never cross. Same slope. Describe the slope of perpendicular lines. Well, we have two things to keep in mind here. Opposite, which means if it's positive, we make it negative. And the second one is reciprocal, which means we flip it. We'll put here switch signs. So the first thing we have to look at here is to find the slope of these lines given a graph. So I'm going to say we have a point here and we have a point here. Slope is the fancy way, or the short way of saying just rise over run. And that's easy to do if you have a graph with some dots on it. I'm going to go my rise first and then my run. So my rise is 1 and my run is 2. Now actually, if you look carefully, my rise is -1 because I'm going down, and my run is 2. Looking at this line right here, it's a horizontal line. Now, if I'm going horizontally, my rise is 0, and my run is, well, here I picked 2. 0 divided by any number is 0. Horizontal lines. The slope is equal to 0, always. If I have a vertical line, the slope is called undefined. Alright, now here we're going to do the slope formula. Slope formula says y2 minus y1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. What I need to do here is label my points. X sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. I know it's hard to see there. My 1's are here and my 2's are here. So what I do is I lay this out, put my minus signs in here, because they'll stay in there regardless. I take my y sub 2 as 5, my y sub 1 is -13. Notice how I have a minus and a negative sign there. Same thing's going to be true on the bottom. X sub 2 is 8, x sub 1 is -4. So if I type these in the calculator, 5 minus -13, that's going to be 18. 8 minus -4 is 12. I can actually simplify that and make it, divide each of them by 6, and that's going to get me 3 over 2. Alright, let's find the slope of this line here. We're going to need x sub 1, y sub 1, and x sub 2, y sub 2. Same formula, y sub 2 minus y sub 1, divided by x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Write my fraction bar, put my minus signs in there, and let's go ahead and plug those guys in. Y sub 2, -9, y sub 1 is 1, x sub 2 is -2, x sub 1 is also -2, that's interesting. -9 take away 1 is -10, and my -2 minus the -2 is 0. If I were to type that in a calculator, I'd get an error. We call that undefined. With a 0 on the bottom is undefined. 0 on the top would be a slope of 0. Now, the next couple questions, we have to decide, are they parallel, are they perpendicular, or are they neither? Well, let's look right here. This is in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. We know that my slope equals my number next to my x. That's going to be my 2. This is not written in the same format here. What I have here is, my standard form. And I know that my slope is the opposite of a over b. So let's figure out what that's going to be. Here's my a, here's my b. If I take a over b, that's 3 over 6. Flip the sign to make it a negative, and I go ahead and simplify that. That's going to be -1 over 2. If you look carefully, the slope of this guy is actually 2 over 1. What do we say about perpendicular lines? that they're the opposite signs and they're reciprocals of each other, or they're flipped. So let's check out our rules here. Opposite signs, yes. Negative, positive. And are they flipped? Yes, 1 over 2, 2 over 1. We would call those perpendicular. All right, here, again, we have a line that's in the slope-intercept form. So I'm just going to right here grab that number next to x. Slope there is 2/5. All right. Now remember, my slope of this one in standard form is the opposite of a over b. Well, here's my a. Here's my b. Got to be careful that there's a negative in there. So it's 2 over -5, but if I take the opposite of that, that turns it into a positive. My m is 2 over 5. Slopes are the same. Lines are parallel.